insight on the Ukraine and Russian and North Korea Trinity segment that we're in. And correct me if I'm wrong, but to my recollection, like we would much rather, have Russia. My phone's fucking up. We would much rather have Russia win the war in Ukraine. Not that's what we want to happen, but we would much rather have Putin win the war than him siding with North Korea. The downside with Ukraine is there's not much resources or any benefits besides more land. All right, so Russia would just get bigger. All right, now on the flip side, if they go the other way and go make friends with North Korea, there's a lot of benefits that comes with them, and they could be helped out a lot by them. So with the war between Russia and Ukraine, I think both the best outcome is to find a resolution, a peaceful resolution between them, so the war can end. No winner, no loser, but just end. And then have a sit down with, I think it's really funny because I think like this whole stuff that's going on with Ukraine and Russia and North Korea. I think it was Japan though in the movie, but there's the movie called Red Dawn, the first one, and then the remake. But it's not just a remake. The second one's not just a remake. They changed it. Same storyline, just different time period. I think they filled in. They didn't really have the 70s. I think it was what time, 60s or 70s. They may have had or maybe 80s. I don't know. But it's that mind. If North Korea and Russia make friends, then they can turn around and they wipe out Ukraine, and then Russia would have the land and a really good ally. And so, that's just my hot take on this Ukraine and Russia war. Because I've talked about everything else pretty much, in detail. I think I brought them up in big tail, but I saw this video about somebody asked, about something that he wrote, and it was talking about Ukraine Russia war and the friendship that North Korea and Putin are trying to make. And this got me really speaking because it's like, besides the land, there's nothing for Russia to gain really over in Ukraine. I don't really know much about their landscape and, um, oil and other resources, but or military and scientific breakthroughs. I know they have a lot of land they can gain, but there's nothing real. There's no real gain, no financial gain really. But on the flip side, if they go make friends with North Korea, they got a lot of gain. A good ally, and then and honestly, in the footstep with the people of America, I think a good majority of the human America, I was going to say the human race, but that's everybody. But Americans, we some vote for help with Russia, but a good majority I think are more in Ukraine's favor. And I do remember I can't remember everything I read, but I do remember reading that I think Russia made a treaty with Ukraine to give up their nuclear weapons in order to never be, in this predicament. They gave up, I think, nuclear weapons or something, and it made it to where, they had a treaty to where Russia would never do this kind of stuff. So they kind of broke the treaty. And if people know exactly what I'm talking about and want to educate me about it, I'm more than willing. I would like to know more about that scenario. But yeah, that's just my hot take on the whole Trinity issue that America is kind of in the middle of. Because if Putin actually puts on hold for a man, then goes makes buddy with North Korea, and people that, I mean, who's allies with, North Korea and Russia, who aligns with them more in this day and age. I mean, are there other countries that, would make allies? And then, I mean, what's the qualifications to make your own NATO, to make a new NATO? I mean, I can't remember if Russia or Ukraine or North Korea are in NATO, but I mean, what if they were to make another NATO that is the opposite of this NATO, and then we'd have an all-out war between NATO and not NATO. I mean, I don't know what they would call it, but NATO and NATO 2, and then we'd have just two big groups of government just fighting. And it would only be a matter of time with that we would have to experience war on our homeland. But that's just, a little bit inside my brain on this whole topic.